Hello, hello, everybody. How are you? I'm going to let people hop on. I'm going to take a minute, just chill out, all that fun stuff, Um, and then I will get to talking. How's everybody doing? All right, so real quick, I hate these shirts. Bro always shows. Okay, so real quick, just so that you guys know, okay, my name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks the IEP. And I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. All right, so let me say that again. All right. My name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. I think that's an impactful statement because it's the truth. And so I'm excited to talk to you guys today. We're going to talk about distance learning plans. Do you have one? We're going to talk about what's important to include in that distance learning plan, which is part of your IEP. And we're going to talk about the documentation that you need to help support compensatory services once you go back to school, or your child goes back to school. And what if summer school's closed? Does that mean there's no ESY? So that's what we're talking about today. All right, so getting started, I want you guys to first click notifications above if you are new and haven't clicked that yet, so you know when I go live. Second, if you're new to this group, first through third time, post a 1 below. If you're an oldie but goodie, post a 2 below. I want to get to know you guys. I want you guys to feel comfortable saying hello. So make sure you post a 1 below. Replayers, 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. New is like, this is 1 through 3 that you've watched me. Okay, so we're going to talk about those 4 subjects. Let me repeat them again. We're going to talk about a distance learning plan that goes into your IEP. We're going to talk about what's important to include in that distance learning plan. Again, that's in your IEP. If you typically have ESY, if summer school's closed, does that mean that there's no ESY? And we're going to talk about the documentation you need to get compensatory services once school begins again. So what I want you guys to do is share away. Click that share button, share this with people. These are really important topics, and we're better together, right? So being better together means you got to share the love. And if there's information that you feel is important, definitely share with your friends. All right, so let's get started. A distance learning plan. So unless you guys have mandatory, we've talked about this a lot, unless you have mandatory education, online, virtual learning is typically what it's called, where the teacher is there every single day and your child has to be on the computer at a certain time. So just say 10 to 2 or whatever it is, okay? So that is where certain states or certain districts, hey Amanda, certain states and certain districts are offering that, which is awesome. I know here in Northern Virginia, the DC metropolitan area, I guess there's too many kids to even be trying to do that, because then they have to adhere to everything within that IEP other than face-to-face. So it has to be virtual. All right, so speech, OT, ABA, how that happens, who knows? But they have to provide everything in your IEP if there is mandatory virtual learning going on in your county or your state. All right, so and you guys know if that's going on, okay? If it's not, then it's called distance learning. And that's where each week the school system, more than likely the teachers, are mailing you, emailing you, different things for your kids to work on. I think it's a joke. Maybe you guys post below. Let me know if you guys are getting anything good. But I'm getting sucky stuff. I mean, these stupid worksheets and just dumb stuff. I mean, we can go to Amazon and get these workbooks that are so much better than what I'm being sent, at least. So post below what you're getting sent. So distance learning is when you have a period of time each day, say 1 to 2 o'clock, the teacher's available. You can email her and ask questions. And they check in once a week, basically, and say, hey, how you doing? Here's some more paperwork. Okay, so right now with distance learning, even virtual learning, there's no new content available or even allowed to be taught, okay? But basic things that they've already learned, the virtual learning piece, if that's mandatory, that's what they're teaching with that. And as far as the distance learning, they're just providing things that your child has more than likely already done. Okay? Don't forget, post a 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I want to say hi to you. Make sure you click notifications too. And if you guys haven't joined the group, Autism Mama Rocks IEP group, definitely do that. That's where everybody kind of talks, asks questions. Hey, this is going on in my life, and this is what just happened. Help. That's what's going on over there. That doesn't happen too much over here on the page. All right. So your distance learning plan. So hypothetically, you have an IEP meeting coming up. As I've said to you guys already, make sure that if they say that it's going to be a phone call or conversation on the phone, that if that's not something you're comfortable with, and you can get Rev Call Recorder and still record it, but I suggest face-to-face, all right? And that's your right to ask, because it's face-to-face in an IEP meeting, so they should be able to do face-to-face on a Zoom or a Skype. Okay. And they have that available to them. So don't let them tell you otherwise. Number 2, don't let them tell you it's a FERPA violation for them to do face-to-face. That's bullshit. All right. So don't let that be something that they say, because it's not true. And if you need the documentation of it, let me know, but you can even look it up on the FERPA website. Okay. So you have this IEP meeting online, right? And they may want to change your IEPs completely up. All right. Don't allow that. Now, what you can do is you can add 2. All right. So keep your IEPs where it is, kind of like in a stay put status, but not technically. Okay. Hi, Jessica. How are you? And so don't touch your IEP. All right. For those of you who've been calling me and messaging me, I know I haven't gotten a hold of you guys today. I apologize. I'm doing a whole bunch of IEP makeovers, and I think everybody knows that I'm doing it. I'm giving a discount, so everybody's like messaging me, and I'm sorry, I have not even looked yet because I've gotten so many messages. So if you're interested in an IEP makeover, I am offering a discount right now, and I think now's the time to do it. And as I've said, this summer is not the summer to take an IEP break. Not the summer to do it. All right. So you have this IEP meeting online, and it's kind of weird maybe to you. It's really not. I love them. I attend IEP meetings as an advocate all the time on Zoom, all the time. It's just as successful as if I'm sitting beside you in a chair. So it's pretty awesome. So I love, love, love Zoom because number 1, I give them my link, and then I'm able to record the whole meeting. And I'm in Virginia, so I'm legally allowed to record. And so if I have a client in a state where it's a 2-party state and you guys have to ask permission to record, it's perfect in my situation because I'm actually allowed to record them without telling them because I don't live in that state. So that works pretty well. So we're in this meeting, okay? And let's just go back to the Zoom meeting. Say it's a Skype or a Zoom meeting. And they're talking to you and you're wanting to figure out goals and, all that kind of stuff because that's an important thing to parents, along with services, accommodations, and modifications. Yes, I'm almost done with my kit. I'm almost done. I'm doing a mini course. It's going to be launching in May, the end of May. So what do you want to do with all that? Honestly, it doesn't matter right now. You want to make sure things stay what they are. If you can get accommodations and services increased, I highly suggest you do that. Meaning if you have 2 days a week of speech at 30 minutes, increase it to maybe 3. If you have 1 day a week of OT for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, increase it by 1 more. Try to push for that and use compensatory services as your excuse. And see how that goes. You don't have a lot of objectable stuff to use in doing that, but it's worth a try, okay? We talked about subjective verbiage, and we talked about objective verbiage in reference to tests and assessments. So subjective is when you have that gut feeling of this is what my child needs. My child needs this bad, and just as parents, we just know that. And so we're just like, my kid needs this. I need it right now. They need it right now. They need it right now. And we don't have anything to kind of back that up other than our gut feeling. And we know, and typically we're always right. But It's subjective and there's no data behind it. So you have to have objective data, which is tests, assessments, the next thing we're going to talk about, which is what documentation do you have to support compensatory services. So when you go back to school and you have, say, an IEP meeting once you go back to school, which you need to request that at least 2 weeks before you go back, you need to request compensatory services. Well, the way you at home now can collect data to get compensatory services once your child goes back to school is do the challenge that I've been doing over on the group, guys. But no, seriously, you need to record your children. So if you're doing work and they're struggling to read, if they're having a fit and there's behavior issues that have started that did not show face when they were in school, all these things need to be documented by video because that is your data, okay? So data is the most important piece in establishing and creating an IEP. All right. So a lot of us kind of go with, oh, my child needs to get services. They need to get accommodations. The goals need to be SMART. How the heck do you write SMART goals? Okay. That's important. All right. Way important. But if you don't have data, you can't accurately create anything within the IEP. All right. So you've got to have data. And right now at home, while you are teaching your children and you're doing things on a daily, over in my group, which you guys need to join if you haven't, I'm doing a challenge. I have not done day 21 yet. It's a 30-day challenge. I need to go do that probably tomorrow. But here's the thing, and this actually could be day 21 and I could just have a watch party over there, right? So make sure you have data. And your data is, like I've said, over in the group for the challenge. Take recording of your child. I got one of those cameras. You get 3 of them, and it was like $196. That might be a lot, but it is. Here's how it makes it easy. All right, I got it on Amazon. I can post the link if you guys want it. Post below if you want the link. It's 3 cameras. I put one in her room, I put one in my living room, and one in my kitchen, okay, because we do a lot of work in the kitchen at the table. So here's the cool thing, is this camera is always on. It's like it's a camera, if someone breaks in your house, too. But it also is linked to your Wi-Fi and your email and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of each day, you can put, and you can put in this camera, okay, at 10 p.m., send me all the recording. And then you can choose, okay, delete it or not delete it or whatever, right? So I'm emailed all of these recordings now, and I'm able to pick and choose what I want to keep and what I don't. And that's my data. How cool is that, right? And here's the kicker, is it's easy to cut certain pieces. So they're not watching 24 hours of a video. You want to just get those pieces. So you can even say the first 15 minutes, okay, bam. And then, 5 hours later, there's another 15 minutes. You can cut that too and then link them together. It's easy. Let me know if you need help. But that's the cool thing about that camera. And so bottom line, but that $196 is going to be way worth it when you're trying to get compensatory services and whatever else that you're trying to get for your child when you go back to school. Your child is missing 6 months of school. You have got to be thinking about what it is that's going to be needed for your child. Number 1, an evaluation. Number 2, more preferably, you need to go get an IEE versus them do an evaluation because that's going to take forever. So if you have data by video and you have an IEE, which is you go choose your doctor with your insurance or Medicaid or whatever you have, speech therapy, OT, PT, ABA, you can get an FBA from a BCBA. You can go to, and my favorite test is the psychoeducational. That's the I can't even say it. Psychological plus the educational piece, which is genius. All right. So, they do a lot of psychological evaluations. Well, this is the psychological plus the educational piece. So that's the psychoeducational, my favorite test ever. So go get an IEE before you start school. Make sure you record every single day and decide if that's something you want or not, and then delete it, But you want to catch those impactful things. Struggling with reading and they didn't before. Struggling with writing and they didn't before. Behavior issues that have just appeared because of being home in the transitions, whatever they all of a sudden have a tick, whatever it is, you need to catch that on video because that's your data. And that's why I said to do it every single day, because if you don't do it every day, it doesn't mean it's data. That's just recording your child each day. Okay. So, or by the day, you want to have data of a consistency. Okay. It has to have, some sort of timeline. All right. So for the week of May 1st through 5th, Sam did this. Okay. So that's data. Data isn't typically done by a 24-hour period. Okay. So, and if there is something that's kind of picked up, like a behavior, like a tick, like reading struggles, writing struggles, that's something that's going to take place throughout that week. So you're able to get bits and pieces of that if you're just recording with your phone or something. All right. So that's the documentation that you need. All right. That answers that question. Let's check that off. Documentation you need to help support you when you go back to school, your child goes back to school, to get compensatory services. So if you're emailing your teachers and your team, like I've said over on the group in the challenge, the IEP challenge, you want to be recording every day. You want to be taking notes every day, and then put that into a file on your computer, on your desktop. All right. Then what you want, that's the recordings, that's the documentation of the notes. Okay. And then each and every week you need to figure out what it is you're going to send the teacher, just an update, a video that was impactful, whatever it is. So you want to stay in touch. Then 2 weeks before school starts, you want to, number one, request an IEP. All right. And then you also want to state, please note that in this IEP, we are going to discuss goals, the present level of academic achievement and functional performance, and compensatory services, along with services and related services. All right, so you're really covering everything, but you're letting them know ahead of time, hey, plan on this. Okay, so make sure that that's clear, and make sure that they know to give themselves 3 hours. All right, so put that in your email. All right, so the distance learning plan, again, just to touch base on that, is an IEP meeting by Zoom that you have. All right, and the teachers want to change up your whole IEP. That's a no. All right, but you will sign an extra amendment to the IEP, which is called just an amendment, all right, that can include the provisions of the distance learning, okay? But you don't really need it, all right? So if your school system's saying, oh, we need to change up the IEP because of distance learning, blah, 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 you really don't have to, all right? But if you want to keep your IEP as is, add an amendment that says distance learning plan amendment. Put a start date and an end date. And then it needs to state the regular IEP will then take place on such and such date. Okay, so that can be the first day of school, whatever. Okay, so that's what I suggest, is if you do a distance learning plan in your IEP meeting, meaning you're going to create something new in regards to distance learning, make sure it's an amendment to your IEP, and it says very clearly that it is only going to start on May 5th and it's going to end on August 15th because school starts August 16th. Okay. And then the regular IEP will then come into play. You need to make sure that that verbiage is very clear if you're going to put a distance learning plan amendment to your IEP in place. All right. So we covered that. We covered the documentation, and the one thing that you want to include, we already talked about that, which is making it an amendment so that it is added to the IEP, and there's dates. On such and such date it starts, the distance learning plan, on such and such date it ends, and then the regular IEP then resumes. Okay, so you can even say the regular IEP is now in stay put status. The distance learning plan is now in play from May 5th to August 15th, and then school starts August 16th. Makes sense? So post below if you have any questions in regards to that. And anybody hopping on, if you're new, watching the replay, post a 1 below if you're new, 1 below, and a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I want to say hi to all of you. I want to get to know you. and I think this page is awesome. Make sure to click notifications and share this if you want to, and jump over to the group and join Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP group. All right, that's where everybody talks and stuff like that. Guess who I had the privilege of talking to? So have you guys ever heard of that case, the Endrew, it's Endrew, that happened in 2017 in the Supreme Court, where he won in regards to his IEP not being sufficient enough in regards to his goals and progress. And it's an awesome case. I can post the link. Well, anyway, I was able to talk to him, and he had a lot of good tips for me. And he was even talking about like provisions of related services that, you know, can go into play, that can be very difficult to put into play, that we'll talk about in another chat, maybe tomorrow or Monday. So that's about provisions of related services. And I kind of got that information. I'm going to put it in my service accommodations and modifications kit. It's really a mini course that I'm putting out the end of the month. And you know, along with my large course, but this service accommodation and modification mini course is going to be awesome. Really short, sweet, 3 modules, 3 videos, a big workbook for you. It's going to be cool. But we'll talk a lot about provisions of related services and what that means, because there's going to be provisions in regards to it when you get back to school. And the schools are going to really fight you on your request for an increase of services. So the more weekly data you take each and every day, meaning video. Video is that if it's not in writing, it never happened. Well, that's when school's in play. All right. If it's not in writing, it never happened. All right. But right now, because your child is not in school and they cannot visually see your child, your data and your proof is in video. Okay. So know that. And it's very difficult. That's why I say you always got to have that video on, because it's very difficult when a child does something really quick. It's kind of like when your child just starts walking and they're like, let me get the camera, right? Well, sometimes you miss that opportunity. So always have a camera on, even if you have an iPad or whatever, you know, just make sure you get that recording. All right. So we talked about the distance learning plan, which is the IEP, and you're having these, you know, IEPs online now that are a little weird, but they're actually really cool. And your team is saying, hey, we need to put a distance learning plan in order, and basically trying to get rid of your IEP, which is going to screw you. Do not do that. So what's important to include is the amendment to then put in play, put your IEP in a stay put status, and make sure that the amendment, which is the distance learning plan, has a start and an end date and ends at least a day before school starts. All right. Then the last thing we're going to talk about is if summer school is closed, is ESY going to happen? All right. So that's what we're going to talk about next. Does anybody have any questions? Let me know. Let me know. Hi, Jean. How are you? Jessica, welcome. I love your mask. That's cool. Amanda, I said hi to you already. So again, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Post a 1. Okay, I don't even know. 1 below if you're new and you've only watched me 1 to 3 times. Okay. All right, so again, post your questions if you have them, all right? If you don't post them while I'm talking, then if you post them later, I promise I will get back to you. All right, so if summer school is closed, ESY is still in play, all right? So ESY is important to have, or will be important to have, to kind of get your child acclimated back into leaving the home, and having those services that they've missed, and having that consistent learning in that environment again, because now they're used to being home. So I think ESY for any child with a disability right now this summer is ideal. So if the governors open up your areas and you're able to do that, and the school systems open up, I highly, highly advise that you fight for ESY. And if you need some help, let me know. But there should not be, unless your child is super high functioning and there's just, there's just not a reason, and you know that yourself. I think all children with disabilities need ESY, especially this summer. All right. And you have such a huge argument. You just got to know how to present and persuade it in the right way. All right. So we covered all 4 things. I'm excited. We covered ESY. Hi, Gracie. Welcome. So we covered ESY. If summer school's closed, is ESY still in play? Yes, it is. We covered the documentation that helps support and will help support in a major way you getting compensatory services for your child once they get back to school. We talked about the distance learning plan, which is the amendment to your IEP in regards to distance learning. We talked about the importance of what to include, which is leaving your IEP as is, making a start date and an end date in regards to that distance learning plan amendment, and making sure that the verbiage in that is very clear and concise. All right. So we are good. That was good. All right. I got through that in less than 30 minutes. I'm excited. All right. All right, so welcome, Gracie. Jean, hello. Welcome, Jessica. Hello, Amanda. I'm saying hi to you guys again. I'm so happy you're on here and said hello. Anybody else, make sure you say hello if you're hopping on or you're catching the replay, and post any of your questions. I promise I'll get back to you, okay? And I will talk to you guys soon. And hop over to the group, Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP group, and join us there. That's where a lot of questions and dialogue and hey, this just happened in my IEP meeting, help happens. And if you're needing a discovery call with me, all you have to do is click above book me and schedule a free discovery call, and we'll have a chit chat and see what it is that you need, what your concerns are, and if there's any issues, or if you need an IEP makeover, we'll address that in that phone call and see how I can best help you. Okay, so I will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful, is today Saturday or Sunday? Saturday, right? It seems like all days just kind of flow together because of, school and everything. Oh my gosh. I'm like, so overwhelmed with everything going on with, number 1, teaching my child, which is extremely difficult. Number 2, I'm overwhelmed with, I had so many IEP makeovers last week. I could do it with my eyes closed. And I have more this week. And so, it's just been crazy, and the books are getting booked up. So if you guys do want an IEP makeover during the discount, which is just for the next 10 days, please message me, okay? I will fit you in, I promise. Even if it kills me. But no, I have a good Saturday, guys, and I am excited to talk to you guys soon. So I will be back on here either tomorrow night or Monday, okay? And if you want, post below what are good times for you right now, because it's so different that it's not where my norm, where I'd go live at 8:30 in the evenings, where now it's so different. So post below what your thoughts are, like what day and time is good for you, and then I'll try to work it to where I can hopefully meet most people's needs. All right, have a good Saturday. Bye-bye.